everyone, my name is Miranda, and guess who's finally caught up on class? Well, not caught up all the way, because if I was, I would just, watch episode 8 since that's been out for, 6 months? But I'm caught up with what's on BBC America now, and I have to say that episode 7, not my favorite episode. It's just weird. I think I definitely like the kids more, and seeing their story and everything, and I do like Miss Quill. I just like it when her story kind of interweaves more with them, and I think I would have the whole story of figuring out what happened to Quill, because it was super fascinating to see her at the end of episode 6 with her scar and her hair longer and being able to shoot a gun, and she threw that little meat bag at Charlie, and I was like, what happened? So I definitely wanted to learn more about what that was. I was definitely intrigued, but then as I saw it, I was like, oh, it's just not, I feel like it wasn't enough to sustain an episode by itself. Had there been another subplot around one of the kids or just something else happening that kind of got us out of that, I think I would have liked it more. But for me, it was just too, I don't know, it was just ugh. I didn't really care, because Quill was the only character that I really cared about. That new dude, Balloon, Ball, whatever his name was, didn't really care about him, and I had reason not to, because he died by the end of the episode. So I was like, I haven't seen you before, and I have a feeling that I'm not going to see you again, so I'm just not going to get attached and stuff. And then also that governor lady, Dorothea or whatever, I still cannot get a read on her. She pulled a gun on Charlie and Metaphysical, so I'm inclined not to like her, but at the same time I feel like she could be one of those people that just is doing the greater good. Because if you look at our main characters in Quill, they do F up quite a bit, and they do tend to solve things in a way that is beneficial to them. Like the petals. They solved the petals, but how many poor squirrels and people had to die before it happened? And I mean, I just feel like sometimes, I can see where they're you guys cause more harm sometimes than you do good, so that's why I don't want to write her off entirely. But at the same time, I just feel like she's one of those ones if we're watching it from her point of view, she would totally be the hero, we'd be like, oh my gosh, these annoying brats, you'll never believe what they did today. But because we're not, you're just constantly waiting for her to play her other hand, and she always has something up her sleeve. She always has some algorithm that she has figured out. So it was interesting. I think I was definitely more invested in seeing her and Quill, because I think they could definitely potentially be unlikely allies, if anything ever did happen with them. I could see that. So it was cool to see them interact more, and this episode definitely felt, to me, more like a Doctor Who episode, even though I haven't seen that many, but just the thing, that little genie in the bottle thing definitely reminded me so much of the TARDIS, because you had to travel inside it, and it was bigger on the inside than it was on the outside. It just seemed very, meta. I will say it seemed very, very Doctor-ish, and I think that it just was too focused on that for me. I feel I definitely think, when we have stories that are just focused on the kids, even in the last episode, how it was just focused on the kids, basically, in their classroom, it was okay, because there's more than one character that we care about. We care about all of these 5 main characters, so there were different things happening and different reactions to the different things happening. When you just have Quill as the character you care about, I think there's less high stakes, because she's not gonna die, and if she does anything or says anything to anyone that isn't in that core 5, it's not really gonna have much impact. Although I will say that I was super shocked at the end when she was pregnant. I was like, this is why, even when we're in astral planes, we use birth control and condoms, people. Who's gonna take care of the baby? That's what I want to know. You think Charlie and Mateus is probably your best bet to take care of that baby, because Charlie's just not gonna know what to do. And Quill, I don't even know if she's physically prepared to, now that she's passed out and from it and all that. So I don't know what that is gonna mean. I don't know how long she was gone for. I mean, now that it had to be at least 6 months, judging by that belly. But it was just such a shock to see it. I think it was really interesting, because I think that was the whole thing, and it was kind of cool how they mirrored each other, the last episode and this episode, of time didn't exist in the places they were, even though Charlie's was time didn't pass, and Miss Quill's was time passed, but just quicker than you thought it did. So I think that was really interesting to see how they both kind of lined up very nicely, in that they were both gone for what seemed like hours or days, and then they come back and it's really only been 45 minutes. So I think that was really cool, and I think really the only thing that I thought was worthwhile about this episode, I guess, would be seeing that Quill is now pregnant and all the implications that brings, and then also learning not more, but just like seeing the resources and the capabilities and again the percentages and the algorithms that Dorothea and thus the governors have. I think that was really interesting and intriguing, just how they always seem to know what's going to happen and to know like, oh, the chance of this, the chance of that. And it's very creepy in that I wonder like how much do they know that they're not telling everyone else? Like, what do they know about the Shadowkin? What do they know about April and Ram? Like, can you give me the Vegas odds if they're gonna make it or not? Same with Charlie and Mateus. That would be awesome if you could slide me that, because I just feel like there's so much that they don't seem to know, but then like at the end they never seem surprised by anything that happens. And I think that happened again in this episode, so it was very, very interesting. But I mean, the whole thing was that Quill is now free and got her freedom, and I'm just like confused, because like her whole thing was like, there's still one Rhodian left and I will kill him, I will avenge my people, blah blah blah. But then she saved him. So I was like, like I don't get like I get her anger at him, but I feel like she needs Charlie alive now because he's the only one that could open the Cabinet of Souls and work it. So even if she has to like hold him at gunpoint, like she needs him alive for that to work. So maybe that's why she saved him, but then at the same time it seems like she really wants to go ham and like torture and just make him regret every single second he did. And I think this is where what Tanya was saying of kind of like, she's been your slave, you treat her like crap, like this is where it's going to come back to bite him, because now that she's free, she's going to be like, what kind of dignity and respect did you treat me with, even when we weren't on opposite sides of a war, even when we were on the same side against the Shadowkin. So I think that's going to be very interesting, especially if the Shadowkin come back, because now we know from episode 6 that Charlie does really want to use the Cabinet of Souls. He's kind of with Miss Quill, but he's trying to be a better person, and Mateus is kind of helping him along with that, being like, you know, the doctor and Mateus actually are kind of both saying like, it's not right, like you don't get to decide that someone gets to die even if they did that to you, you know, like you kind of, you have to be the better person. And I think that's very, very interesting. I know the Shadowkin are going to come back in the next episode. I mean, everything is lining up perfectly for that with Miss Quill, Charlie, they both have invested in it, April is invested in it still, and I feel like it's just, that's the way it's going to end this season, and I'm interested. There's still no word if there's a season 2 or not. So I'm watching all this and I'm just like, oh, like how much, like where is Quill going to go, I guess, now that she has her freedom? That's my real question, is like, how is she going to go after Charlie? Is she going to use Charlie? Is she going to change her ways now that, you know, she had to kill her boyfriend of 1 minute to apparently 6 months, depending on how time worked there. So I think it was really interesting, and I'm excited to see what implications this has, because this is what I've been saying the whole time, is like, Charlie needed to be treating Miss Quill better, or else she was going to do this. I mean, there's a good chance she still would have done this, but I feel like, you know, just the way he's been treating her, still like he's a prince and she's a servant, which in his mind is the right way, but like in Tanya is the one that's always been saying like, you treat her like a slave, that's wrong. So we'll see what happens, but I'm really interested to watch the finale this weekend. I'm so excited. So if you've seen these episodes of Class, please feel free to leave your thoughts about down below and what you think about Miss Quill now having her freedom but also being pregnant, because I guess like now she's not free, because now she's got to worry about the little thing growing in there, alien shapeshifter, who even knows at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a flower. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And make sure to be on the lookout for my last video of Class for Season 1. Thank you guys all so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!